Warriors to another event for Henry and I to jump on and give you some information about what is taking place. We're going to give it just a second because I know we're going to get a group of people joining us tonight. We're on, right, Henry?
We are live. It sometimes it lags. Yeah, it's showing quite a few viewers, but
okay, there they go. Okay.
Yeah. So
all right. Well, welcome again, folks. Henry and I are here with you tonight, and we are going to discuss the latest events with the Chapel case. I know that many of you are feeling frustrated right now. There could be anger right now. Lots of things going on. And if you aren't familiar with what I'm talking about, we have received an answer from the state. And Henry posted an article this afternoon going through exactly what they have said and our response back and his emotions about this. And he was very good about it. He didn't go crazy on anybody. And that's how we want to maintain ourselves as well. This is a very delicate process, folks. And so we want to keep it restrained. But I'm going to just turn it over to you, Henry, because I know people want to know exactly what this means.
Well, so I just kind of want to back up and say that, when we filed the habeas petition back on March 30th, we expected them to answer. And frankly, we expected a little bit more of a robust answer than we even got at this point. Now, they did go past the deadline for when they were supposed to answer. According to the statute, they have 20 days to respond. They took closer to 30. I'm not sure how that's going to play out, but that will be brought up in future filings from Mike's side. But they responded, and really their response is kind of a non-response. They basically are saying that they want everything to be procedurally barred or time barred, which essentially is saying, well, you should have brought this up either at trial or at your previous habeas, but since you didn't bring it up then, you can't bring it up now. Now there is statute that basically says that issues that you could reasonably raise at trial or at that habeas, must be done within a certain period of time. But that's based on you having all of the evidence. That's based on you having all of the information. The Supreme Court, in fact, says that, hiding that information is not tenable, that a district attorney may not hide exculpatory evidence or suppress, as it were, exculpatory evidence. And that's exactly what we have in many of these cases. The one that I covered directly in my article today being the dispatch tape. Well, of course, we know that Mike's defense team sought that dispatch tape. We knew that it had existed or should have existed, but it wasn't turned over as part of the defense files or part of the discovery process, if you will. And there were specific motions for all exculpatory evidence, but there was one specifically that said we want the recordings, the radio traffic from that night. And it was not turned over. And we've heard from the district attorney on NBC and through the Southern Voice and through the Gwinnett Daily Post, giving a myriad of different answers as to what happened to the dispatch tape. Everything from we put it on a different cassette, which, proved not to be true, to, I think I gave it to him, but maybe I didn't. And then he told Savannah Levins, the jury never heard it because I made a strategic decision for them not to hear it. So, I think he told the truth to Savannah Levins. And the truth is that he withheld it. He suppressed it. It's called a Brady violation. It's called prosecutorial misconduct. And the Supreme Court says, sorry, it's not acceptable. Therefore, I think the state's response is going to get shot down by a judge if we've got a fair and honest judge looking at this. I don't think that's going to carry a lot of weight.
Let me ask you this about that, Henry. With former DA Danny Porter basically saying, and he said it to the public. I mean, he's completely busted. With him admitting it to public in the public eye like that, and knowing that it is a violation, doesn't he find himself in a situation here too?
Well, I'm not going to speak to that. I mean, we certainly have submitted that information to the Bar Association, to ask the Bar Association to look at that, and we'll talk some more about that probably next week. But you're exactly correct. Danny Porter has essentially admitted that, this was a Brady violation. He didn't say it that way. He said it. I strategically decided not to give them the dispatch tape, which is a Brady violation.
Mm-hmm.
So do I think that he's going to have more questions to answer? Yeah, I certainly do. And I think that may in fact come up during the course of this hearing that is scheduled. By the way, the hearing is scheduled for June the 30th. It will be on Zoom, and we will have the ability to dial in and watch. I don't think any of us will be allowed to speak, which is appropriate, but we'll all be able to watch the proceedings. And
I plan to be there.
Well, I do as well, if that's allowable. I don't know if that's allowable at this point. I'm still working on that.
Yeah.
And I will certainly let everyone know what that situation is. Quite frankly, if we are allowed in the courtroom, I would like for a lot of us to show up. I would like for us to pack that courtroom out, standing room only, so that they know that Mike has good support, and that we're definitely interested in the outcome of this case.
So I think too, folks, if you can, obviously it's a fluid situation here. It's constant movement, and we never know, especially in a court system, when they're going to just say, hey, we're moving it to a new day, we're not handling it today, whatever. Go ahead and kind of place that in the back of your mind for June 30th, so that you can watch it live, of course. But if you're able to attend, like Henry said, he'll give some updates as to if we're allowed to be there or not. The hearing, I believe, would be in Long County. Is that correct?
I believe they're actually doing the physical hearing part in Tattnall County, which is down near Long County. It's all part of that same district. But as I said, we're going to do these updates weekly, and as we get closer, and I have all of the facts in hand, we will share that with everybody. So just know that as of right now, the hearing is scheduled for June 30th, and there will be updates. But I kind of wanted to go back and talk about what our response to this should be. And how we should be acting at this point. We've been engaged in the call, write, scream. The Attorney General has been part of that, but now the Attorney General has essentially put his hat in the ring as, operating on the other side of this case, responding for the state. And we don't want to be put in a position where it looks like we're trying to tamper with the outcome, or we don't want him to think that we've painted him the enemy or what have you. So I'm actually going to ask that we withhold any more cards and letters to the Attorney General's office, the Attorney General himself, and the Attorney General's office for now until further notice. There are other folks that we want to continue to call, write, scream. And as a few of the people have suggested in the comments from the article, we also need to continue to solicit information with the media. We had been doing a campaign with contacting Joe Rogan and Dr. Phil and a couple of others. I think we want to continue that. And there are people that were on our call right screen list that we want to continue to reach out to. So what we're going to do is we're going to update the call right scream instructions. I will try to have that posted by tomorrow evening. Worst case, we'll have it posted by Wednesday, but we'll shoot for tomorrow evening, and we will give full instructions on who to contact and where and when and all that kind of thing. So for now, let's hold on all call right scream until further instructions come out. But further instructions will be forthcoming in the next 24 to 48 hours. Does that make sense?
We've got someone watching right now wanting to consider picketing the governor's mansion. I don't think that that's probably the direction we want to go at this point, because we could alienate someone who could help us. Is that correct?
And that's kind of the point that I want to get across with call right scream. I mentioned that before. These officials, even the attorney general, is not responsible for Mike's conviction. It is his responsibility to respond for the state. And so, we kind of expected that he would do his job, but, let's let that play out. Let's not paint him, in any kind of way. And certainly I don't, have any reason to believe that the governor, is not on the side of truth and justice. So we don't want to alienate anyone. We want to be very positive in all of our correspondence, and we want to focus on Mike's innocence, and it's time to do the right thing for an innocent man. Now, as I said, when it comes time for the trial, if in fact we can be in person down there at the location of the trial, that's when we all need to show up. And that's when we all need to show up in our Michael Chapel mission t-shirts and, signs, and there will be media, and we will, show up in force. And so that is the time to do that. Call right scream, we should, we'll continue as per the coming instructions. And guys, donateforjustice.com is more important now than ever. As I said, we are, pushing for this hearing. There are depositions that have to take place between now and then. The attorney is gearing up for those. He's having to purchase from the county the certified pages of everything from the transcript and from other filings that we're using. And we can't just use the copies that we already have. We have to have certified copies from the state. So, there's expenses around that. There's other legal expenses. So our legal expenses between now and June 30th are going to be considerable. And we have, another payment that will eventually be due to the attorney. So the two main things that we can do is continue that call right scream program in the right way, and donateforjustice.com. Those are the two most important things we can do between now and June 30th, and then show up on June 30th.
Well, and I know there's one more thing too. Don't get discouraged. I know I've seen a lot of comments that you are discouraged, you're let down, you're brought to tears. It's okay to feel those emotions, because this is an overwhelming situation. And the Chapel family has been through it, especially Mike, obviously. But now is not the time to get discouraged and weighted down with that. This family has been through so many letdowns in the past, different procedural things that have just been rejected, but they've never had the force like we have right now. Let the force be with you. They've never had a team of people working on the case. They've never had an attorney like Billy. They've never had someone as fierce as Henry Ball. They've never had a full-on group of warriors fighting to help this man. So we are in a good position when it comes to that. So we need to try to stay positive. And remember, like I said before, this is a marathon, not a sprint. So this is our really first big step that we are, have taken. And it was not a complete rejection, like Henry said. It was just kind of, they had to do something, and they made a response, but it was not as harsh as it could have been.
Well, and I want to quote Erin of Chapel. I saw one of her comments to some of the folks today. We have only just begun to fight, and that is the fact. We filed the habeas. We expected a fight, and here it is. And we are by no means discouraged. We are by no means dissuaded. We are as close as we have ever been to having a true evidentiary hearing. And I think that the people in this group have seen enough to know that if an honest judge looks at this case and looks at the merits and the facts of this case, then Michael Chappell's coming home.
That's right.
And so I believe that to be the case. I believe we're closer to it now than ever. And we have only just begun to fight.
Absolutely. Well, thank y'all for joining us. I see one last little question there. Where can we get the t-shirts? April Ball can help you with that. So contact April, and she is the one for the shirts and the bracelets. Storypress.com. I believe you can still find them there.
Storypress.store.
.store, excuse me. So we're going to let you guys go for right now. Keep watching for updates, but Henry and I are going to be doing this for the foreseeable future every Monday night at 7. So make sure to set your alarms, put it on your calendar, and be here with us next time. Thanks again, folks.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Tammy.